Hello, welcome to this week's edition of my Fight Picks podcast. It's Friday the 18th of May. Like I said, I think I said last week that I was going to do my picks on Fridays. Problems there, that's like a couple days before the fights, which isn't really long enough. I want to give people more time to kind of digest my picks and come up with their own ideas. I like to do that myself, so I watch a range of people's opinions and then survey heaps of material. I got lots of resources, obviously watching fights and then making my picks. Problem being, at the moment I have a Bet365 account, and they seem to get their odds up a couple days after other sites. And this week in particular, the Suarez fight, Tatiana Suarez opened like paying $1.90 or $2 or something. Heaps of people got in. I was watching it happen. I couldn't get in because I don't have an account that had odds up, so really missed out there. I mean, had I had an account with odds up, I think I would have put down 10 units on Suarez. I'm 99% certain she's going to win, so that could have been a big payout, but never mind. Going to attempt to mitigate that in the future. Currently looking at my options at other betting websites. Sportsbet AU seems to get the odds up pretty early, so I may look at them. Anyhow, just once again, please like and subscribe. The places you can reach me at: Instagram and Twitter, Louis Nux DTD. My email, Lou, L-O-U, Nux, K-N-U-X @gmail.com. Good day today, kind of. I don't know how much I should diverge into my personal life, but I bought some fucking shoes today. And fellow Huarache wearers will know that they're quite a small shoe, usually. So I'm a US 10, but I have to get Huaraches in US 11. So I got some Huarache drifts. I'll show you them. And I presumed that I would get them in the normal size, a US 11. They got this bit you can clip onto the side as well. So I got the US 11 and they're fucking enormous. So I got to fucking mail them back, which sucks. Probably largely uninteresting to most people, but a very pertinent issue to me. So hopefully I make some money this week, which means more shoes. I'm way too old to be obsessing over shoes, but who fucking cares? Without further ado, let's get into some picks. I think this is going to be all my picks, almost. I may make a couple more. I don't think I've got 4 straight picks this week and 1 parlay. Had a lot more last week, did really well, but I just haven't really seen any spots that I want to bet on this week. I'll start with my underdog pick. Which is where is it? Jared Cannoneer versus Dominic Reyes. Not sure how you pronounce that, but let's say Reyes. Made some notes here. I'm real sketch on this. I've put down 4 units. Cannoneer's paying $3, so if he comes in, that's $60. Heard a few different opinions on this. Quite a few people seem keen on picking Cannonier. He's obviously more experienced, fought tough competition. Reyes looks pretty fucking phenomenal, but he hasn't faced tough competition yet. So I gotta admit, and it's not super wise, but my underdog pick here this week is very much coloured by a pick I missed out on last week, which was the Cesar Ferreira fight, where lots of people were picking him and relying on his experience to get over his opponent. Can't even remember who the fucking opponent was now. And indeed he did. So it's a similar case to that this week, but with much different fighters. So I made my pick, and then as I looked into it more, I was like, this is a much different fucking situation from that Cesar Ferreira one. But still hopeful, and should this bet not come through, I'm really confident with my other 3 straight picks, so they should cover it, and I should still be profitable. So happy to take the risk here. It's an exciting fight. The notes I got here on Cannoneer. So big guy, came down from heavyweight to light heavy, and yet still has a really good gas tank. You see him go the rounds in quite a few of his fights, and he can still push in the third. Can outgas guys that just looking at them physically look like they should have a better gas tank than him. So that's quite impressive. He's got real heavy leg kicks. He's strong, nice angles. His losses are against real high level competition, and he was competitive in those fights. So this is kind of where I see him having an advantage over Reyes, is he has been in there with tough guys and been able to hang with them. What I'm hoping is that Reyes gets in there, can't get Cannoneer out of there, and that perturbs him, and in turn Cannoneer is able to kind of turn the tide on him. I think if he can get him past the first round, then things can get really interesting. And Cannoneer has a fucking chin. Like, we've seen it in many, many fights. He takes shots and they don't seem to phase him. Saying that, Reyes has pretty dynamic striking. So can he take his shots? I think he can. It's a matter of how many and how long for, and can he get off his own offense. I think Cannoneer is very much a confidence fighter. When I think of confidence fighters, I think a real good example of that is the second Rose Namajunas Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight, where you saw the fight seesawing, and so obviously Joanna's confidence had been knocked from the first fight, and they came out and it looked much like the first fight. Joanna couldn't really touch her. Rose was evading her shots and then getting off her own, staying out of range. And then at some point, it was as though Joanna remembered who she was and came back, started hitting her with the leg kicks. And then the fight kind of seesawed at that point. And it seemed as though Joanna's confidence was growing and Rose's was diminishing. Then they come out for the last round, do or die round. And Rose is just like, she went on the attack and went after it. And yeah, I think you see in Cannoneer's fights, if he lands some shots, he starts to get very confident. He gets a little bit showy and flashy, but one of those fighters, when you see them drop their hands and get loose, you feel better about when they're fighting guard up. You know, they look better in that mode when they get all comfortable and relaxed and start firing. I think that's what Cannoneer does, so I'm fucking hoping he does that on Sunday. What else we got here? Other thing about Cannoneer, he is getting on, so you can't really expect to see nothing new from him, or not too much at least, but I believe he only quit his full-time job 2 fights ago. So he's only really, really dedicated himself to the sport 2 fights ago. So that bodes well, I think. And, you know, especially at that age, for a guy his size, this could be around his peak years. And if he's recently just dedicated himself, you know, and he's getting on, but not too old, this could be the point. You know, this is time to make a run. Not saying that I think he will, but you know, in his mind, this might be his time. He mixes up his strikes, feints well, and is evasive with his head. He's got like nice kind of boxing style head movement. Every now and then he'll throw a shot and then evade a shot with his head and kind of spin right around, which is a little concerning. I haven't seen him get into trouble with that, but a guy like Reyes with an amazing kicking game may be able to catch him as he's doing that, so I fucking hope he doesn't do that. Pretty scary pick here, but I'm just hoping that Cannoneer can push Reyes into those later rounds and surprise him with his gas tank, his durability, and start edging out the fight, getting confident and getting off on Reyes. And you know, we haven't really seen Reyes's gas tank exhibited, not at this level at least. It's been a long time since he's had a fight go out of the first round. And I think in his pro record, he's only been to the third round once, and all his other fights are first round finishes. So, I mean, great record, but let's see what happens when he comes up against a tough guy who can hang in there. Next fight, I put 4 units on Poliana Botelho, the Brazilian versus Suri Condor. I didn't watch heaps of tape on this, but what I did watch, Condor's striking looks really rudimentary to me. She's super stiff. She does get off a lot of shots, but yeah, her striking just doesn't look nice. Porcello looks really strong. Obviously, her fight with Pearl Gonzalez was a bit of a wash. She got held up against the cage a lot, but still managed to win because she did enough defending the wrestling, throwing elbows while she was up against the cage, that sort of thing, to win the fight. I'm just kind of relying here on Porcello to be the more fluent striker, more athletic, probably stronger and bigger. And I'm pretty confident that Porcello is going to come away with that win. So not too much insight there, but I think we're going to get some money back on that one there. What else we got? So 6 units down on Zak Cummings to beat Mikhail Caceres. Caceres is obviously a winner. He has won, I think, 6 fights in a row or something. Down at 155. He's missed weight 3 of his last 4 fights. He's now being forced to go up. Why are they fighting middleweight? Anyhow, he's being forced to go up a division, and he's like, I've seen different heights listed for him in different places. So some places it says he's 5'6", and some say it's 5'8". I had better just check what division they are actually fighting at, because I have forgotten. Excuse me, 1 second. Where is it? Right. So yeah, he's been on a winning streak, and yeah, so they're fighting at welterweight. Caceres coming up from lightweight. He has been on a streak, but 3 of those 4 fights, he's coming overweight. We all know the deal there. It appears that is an advantage. Particularly this year, it's been an advantage every time, and his style being big suits him. So here he comes against a guy in Zak Cummings who is a big welterweight, huge height and reach advantage, and I don't think Caceres can use his physicality against Cummings. Oh, I forgot, I'm on my creaky chair today, I forgot to switch it over. Sorry about that. I'll try and sit really still, which is fucking difficult for me because I've had 10 coffees today. Yeah, so I don't think he can do that with Cummings, and Cummings has missed weight before, I believe, at welterweight, so he's going to be really, really fucking big, and I just don't think you can underestimate what sort of advantage that big of a discrepancy will give Cummings. Watching Cummings fight, not only is he enormous, but he's also a southpaw. Makes that compounds the size problem, I think. You got a big southpaw with long reach, big power, and like a really, really nice left cross. Throwing that down the middle, he can keep the guys on the end of those strikes, which I imagine he will look to do. What I see happening in this fight Cummings keeping him on the end of his strikes, and Caceres gassing, and Cummings getting him out of there. I think I'd be pretty confident this fight doesn't go to decision, and I could look at placing a bet depending on what that's paying as well. We'll see how that goes. There's a few fights like that where I'm thinking I might place prop bets on fights not going to decision, that being this one, and I think the main event, Usman versus Maher, I'm pretty sure that won't go to decision, and I forget the other one, but never mind. So that's that one. My last straight pick, I got 6 units on Vicente Luque to beat Chad Laprise. Seen a lot of people picking Laprise for this fight. I gotta admit, and once again, not smart, but I'm super petty, and the more you watch my podcast, you'll realize that. And whilst I would like to say, well, it doesn't. So I saw Laprise on the card, and I was like, fuck, I'd love an opportunity to fade Laprise because I don't like him. And so I went, watched the tape, and did my research, and was real happy that I could confidently fade him. So one came before the other, but it could have just in the tiniest way influenced my pick, because I was looking to fade Laprise before I surveyed the information. But anyhow, the reason I don't like him, and I don't even really remember it, this is how fucking childish and petty I am, but I do, like, I just see his face and I'm like, I don't like that guy. And I know it goes back to when he was on The Ultimate Fighter, and he was just always wanking on about God and Jesus in relation to his fights. And yeah, sorry if you believe in those things, but a grown man talking about imaginary God, and say even imaginary God does exist, that he cares about you having a fucking fight in the Ultimate Fighter house whilst teenagers are getting sniped in Gaza. I think that's mighty fucking arrogant and nonsensical. So, and yeah, his nickname's the Disciple. His head's kind of annoying. So I'll just get that petty shit out the way before I go into the breakdown. But that's how I feel about Laprise, and fuck, I'm gonna be bummed if I bet against him and he wins. Like, that's gonna kill me. But I don't think he will. Also, I have seen a lot of contrary information on this, or people's picks that I've been looking at. Lots of people are going different ways. Anyhow, think Laprise will come in confident. He was a 155er, moved up, had trouble with the weight cut there. Has looked pretty good at welterweight. We've seen lots of guys move up divisions recently and look good. So RDA, for example, with the same particular move from 155 to 170, I think RDA might be the same height as Laprise as well. So RDA definitely very short at welterweight, but doing really well. And saying that, Laprise ain't fucking RDA, that's for sure. But he is really talented. Got to give him that, as much as I hate to. He's on a 3-fight win streak, I believe. Not against the greatest competition, so take that as you may. He moves really well, got good movement, good angles. I think he could be there to be hit in the pocket, like every now and then. So on the outside, his movement's really good. Every now and then, when he engages in the pocket, he gets stationary, just at the end of a combo or something. And I think that may be something Luque is looking for, and I think Luque is the type of striker that might be able to catch him in those positions. Other things about Laprise, he is small for the division, smaller than Luque. And the other thing that would concern me if I was betting on him is he has a loss to Ross Pearson. Yeah, it was a Ross Pearson of a few years ago, but still, I don't know. I wouldn't be super confident looking at Laprise and then just seeing that on his record. It just doesn't look good. A few If you know Ross Pearson's career, then you'll know what I'm talking about. So I believe that's all my straight picks for this week. I didn't even go into Luque. So I think important things Luque will be looking to do is cut off the cage, not follow fucking dickhead Laprise around. Cut off the cage well. Luque's got a real nice jab and a really nice leg kick. In the fights I watched, I didn't really see him vary his kicks. Like, they were all, if I recall correctly, he was always going to the leg. I think against Laprise, it could be wise if you do have a nice high kick or a nice body kick is to vary those kicks, and I think you might be able to catch him exiting the pocket and, you know, in those sorts of situations. He explodes into a flying knee quite frequently, and he uses it sparsely enough, I think, for it to still be surprising. Good technique, he throws it well. I would love to see Laprise get knocked out by a flying knee. That would be incredible. He's on the ground, he's got incredible submissions and really varied range of submissions as well. So don't let him get near your neck. Just recently, he beat the undefeated Nico Price, and he came in on 11 days notice for that fight and just looked really good. So that gives me a lot of confidence in Luque. He's fought tougher guys and beat tougher guys than Laprise. He's got a really nice check left hook, which is also powerful. Seen him drop people with that. His striking looks really effortless and natural. He's a welterweight, and he's only young too. He's only like 26, but in his record before, in his early days in his pro career, he has a fucking knockout against Thiago Santos, which is, as an opponent of Luque, that's fucking terrifying that he has knocked out the enormous and powerful Thiago Santos, the dude with the big fucking hammer on his chest. Pretty crazy. He's also got like nice top control and ground and pound, so I wouldn't be surprised if I think he'll strike with Laprise, because I feel like he has an advantage there, and he may feel like he does as well. But should things not go his way on the feet, I wouldn't be surprised to see him take this fight to the ground. Seems to like to try the ground and pound first, but he's got those subs in his back pocket as well. This was another fight I'm really confident won't go to decision. I think there will be a finish in this. I think it will be Luque, and fucking I will be so thoroughly pleased to win some money off a Laprise loss and a Luque victory. Just looking at my one parlay here, I've got Luque to win, which I just explained, and Rivas to win, the only Chilean fighting on the card. Not going to go into that too much, but super confident that Rivas wins. I may even put some money on him as well. He's paying 162 for the win. So that parlay, I put 2 units down. Combined, it's paying $2.43. So we'll make a little money there and keep my parlay record going strong. I looked the other day on the Bet MMA website, and you can go to the leaderboard and click on the different sections. If you go parlay return on investment percentage, I'm second on the leaderboard. Admittedly, I've only like put down 3 or 4, but still, you know, I would like to stay high up in that ranking there and keep the parlays going. I'm going to keep betting them, and I may put a parlay on what is it? Usman and Maya not going to decision, and Laprise not going to a decision, or maybe Cummings and Caceres not going to a decision. I'll have a look. But anyway, if I do make another parlay, I'll put it in the comments down there. What else we got here? I forgot to go into comments from last video, but more local New Zealand MMA news. Shane Young just got booked for another fight. Another guy, 145 this time, fighting out of City Kickboxing. I didn't realize he was out of City Kickboxing as well, which is just incredible. In his debut, I saw that fight live against what's his name? Volkanovski, the Australian, and Volkanovski is not a joke, and just fucking unfortunate to have to make your debut against that guy. So real interested to see what Shane Young can do in his second UFC fight, and just the confidence I have in that team at City Kickboxing and the incredible things they're doing. I hope to see him doing really well going into the future. Other items of interest this week: Mackenzie Dern debuts in the rankings, which is just crazy. So she's now ranked in a division, ranked 15th in a division she can't make the weight for, and at the expense, I believe, of Angela Hill, who has gone to decision with Andrade. Mackenzie Dern ain't really done shit in the division in several respects. One, that she doesn't make the weight for the division, and two, she hasn't fought anyone tough yet. Pretty crazy. Angela Hill was quite pissed off, and with good reason, I imagine, because those rankings do affect who you can access in terms of who you get to fight. But I mean, on the flip side of that, Dern making it into those rankings might mean she has to fight someone ranked next, and that would be good to see. Although, fuck, I think they should make her fight at 125 in her next fight. We got Till and Wonderboy creeping up on us very shortly. I will begin studying for that fight over the weekend, I think, which I'm real excited about. And my hunch at the moment tells me I'm going to make a Till play or nothing, but we will see. Still quite unsure about that. Just going to look up, got some fucking comments on the video this week. Some hilarious ones. Well, hilarious depending on how you wish to look at them. But I got a real nice one again from Indovino. I just clicked when I was looking at that name. I was like, is that a reference to weed and wine? If so, very good. But yeah, I checked out your record, bro, and yeah, very nice record on the Bet MMA site, and so nice to get props from you. But here's 8.76 units at 35% return on investment is a nice hit. You did better than most of the elite level pros. Congratulations. Your overall is looking good too at 30%. Little piece of me is proud of you. Keep up the good work. You're doing great. Thanks, man. Nice to have that affirmation. I'm feeling pretty good. Recognizing that I am new at this and I have had good events to start with. But I don't know. It'd be easy to kind of dismiss me and say I've been lucky. But I think I'm doing well. I'm doing the due diligence and doing my research. And I'm learning new shit every week. About how I wish to bet and how much I want to bet and all that sort of stuff. So I'm still experimenting and learning. And, obviously it's gambling, so there is a little bit of luck involved. But I think I'm doing pretty good. So really happy with things so far. Another reply I got on the last video. Forgive me if I'm wrong as well, but Macau, you have to be German with this comment. This is the most German thing to say to someone, if not somewhere near Germany. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the comment is, the next person who agrees with it has some fucking Euro name as well. So, Louis, please focus on your music. You have a great potential to be international hip hop star. Don't waste your chance and do what you do best, music. Best wishes from Poland. Okay, so Poland. Sorry, Mikhail, I didn't realize. But yeah, I knew there was a European comment anyhow, probably because it says fucking Poland in it. Fucking a dumbass. Um, and someone else, Brats, has said agree 50 times. Okay, in regards to this, what does he say? You have great potential to be international hip hop star. Bro, I'm in my late 30s. I made music from like in my early 20s. Nothing is gonna happen in that regard. Like, you know, anything can happen, but I've given that a crack, and that was never really my motivation anyway. I just wanted to make music, play shows, tour, and have fun, which I achieve heaps of, and I'm real happy with that. So, um, yeah, more recently, there's been things become more important to me, my work, and now fucking gambling on MMA. I'm afraid to say to people that would prefer me to make music, but that's what I like doing. This is my life, and I will do with my limited time on this earth what I wish and that which makes me happy. So, but in saying all that, I have been like writing some songs recently, so I might release some music soon. I imagine I will. At some point, I will have to, but you know, I'm getting older. How dignified is it to rap in your late 30s? I'm not sure, but I guess it depends on the sort of music you make. And anyhow, like the way I make music, or do anything, like if my heart's not in it, I don't have the drive and motivation to do it without being passionate about it. So if I did force some music out, it would be garbage. Like I've made garbage music before, and I don't wish to do that again. But so yeah, I gotta be all in if I'm gonna do it. But I'm kind of feeling like that might happen soon. So peace to you, Mikhail. Thanks for the feedback. I'm glad you like my music. But don't tell me what to do with my fucking life. Sweet. Um, that's about it for this week. Um, Main event, I think Usman gets that easily. I think he'll finish Maya as well. I think there's a lot to learn from Maya's last few fights, and I think Usman has all the tools to negate Maya. So I think he takes that easy. Suarez easy. Bit of a shame that the main and co-main event seem like foregone conclusions. There is a bit of intrigue and interest to them. Like in regards to Usman, this cements him as a top 5 guy, which has been a while coming and something he's worked towards for a long time. So that's exciting, and seeing what Suarez can do, like she can confirm that she is a real threat in her division. Once again, the contacts, get at me. Well, next week also, hopefully I'll be able to get my tips video out earlier in the week, so people can have a look early on in the piece. The fuck was I saying? Yeah, get at me with comments, thoughts, feedback. Unless you're telling me what to do, then probably don't bother, but whatever, it's amusing anyhow, so fuck it, do it anyway. Just say whatever the fuck you want. I will as well. Contacts, once again, get at me. Twitter, Instagram, LouisNuxDTD. My email, louknux@gmail. I would love to get some long-winded shit via email. That would be really cool. So yeah, enjoy the fights this weekend. Let's make some more fucking money. I imagine I'm going to, feeling pretty confident again. And fuck, you know, one day I'm gonna take the loss, but I don't think it's this week. So peace. Get some money.